Welcome viewer to Channel 7. Today on Tedok we have none other than the Embakasi SMP, Dr. Babu Owino. Welcome Dr. Babu Owino.
Thank you very much.
But they are running, yes.
Yes.
I running for governorship in Nairobi. That is a really it's on an upbeat note. Are you running for governorship?
I know it's still quite early, Mr. Magati, about the issue of contesting. I have a contract with the great people of Embakasi East Republic, a contract to change their lives, a contract to offer services, a contract to ensure that all roads within Embakasi East and those that are still bad are repaired, are constructed, a contract to ensure that my people get fresh and clean water, a contract to ensure that my people get jobs, a contract to ensure that I construct schools and renovate schools, a contract to ensure that my people go to school by giving them bursaries, and that contract is what I want to focus on still. And then at the right time, I will come out. But as I always say, that I'm so overqualified for any position in this country. I'm overqualified to be a president of the Republic of Kenya. I'm overqualified to be a governor of the great Nairobi city. I'm overqualified to be a member of parliament in Embakasi's constituency. As you can see, and you being among them, when we were talking a few minutes ago, you were advising me to go for president. So my supporters are torn in between going for president or governor. As you can clearly see, there's a lot of pressure from my supporters. Some are saying go for president, you're the only person who can beat Ruto easily. Some are saying take the governor. But at the right time, we are going to announce, we are going to tell people what we want, we are going to serve our constituents. At the right time, we will come out clearly. When it comes to Nairobi governor, there is no opponent. All the opponents who are there are unworthy, as you can clearly see. There is no any opponent for that seat. The incumbent, Bore, ako chini sana. Even if he fights against himself, he'll still lose. So we are spoiled for choice.
You're saying it's an unworthy opponent. Do you mean it's not offering the right services in the Nairobi County residents?
Unworthy opponent means that these people are not qualified to take that position, to take the position for the governor of Nairobi. Unworthy opponent is an opponent who cannot serve his constituents. Unworthy opponent is an opponent who steals, defrauds money meant for services for Nairobians. That is an unworthy opponent.
Same opponent has been...
Or unworthy opponent is an opponent who graduated in a cyber cafe. Cyber cafe, that is where he printed his degree certificate. So his university is a cyber cafe.
But he was not challenged, and he was left off the hook.
You know why? Because the system wanted him to be the governor. Otherwise, he ought not to have even been a member of the county assembly. He doesn't even qualify to be a member of the Nyumba Kumi.
Talk about your humble past, perhaps that dictate where you are heading at the moment. Yeah, I've seen you saying about growing up in your land. Perhaps briefly as we have a conversation on your way forward.
You know, Magati, our past determines how our future will be. I'm a product of my past. I was motivated by poverty in Nyalenda slums, and that is why I'm here today. Because I said that in that slum, I would just go back to change the lives of those people who are there. But nobody would wish to stay in a slum, because the life there is so cruel. The life there seems unfair. And today, Magati, if you tell me that you're going without food, because I've slept without food, I know what it is to sleep hungry, and I will understand you. If you tell me that your child is not going to school for lack of fees, I've lacked fees at some point, I will understand you. If you tell me that you're sleeping in a prison or in a police cell or you've been arrested, I know what it is to be arrested. I used to be arrested from when I was in primary school, when I was selling chana. Even at night to my KCSE biology practicals, I was arrested and I slept in the police cell, only to go the following day, to go late to school to do my exams. So I know what the slum life is, and that is why I take it upon myself as a leader to want to change the lives of those who are in the villages, the lives of those who are in the slums, the lives of the downtrodden, the lives of the forgotten in the society, the lives of the less privileged in the society. Because I'm a product of where they are. And life was so cruel, being sent away for lack of fees. I remember there's a time that we held a fundraiser when I was going to Form 1 at Kisumu Boys High School. The fundraiser only gave us 900 shillings. The guest of honor gave us 200 shillings, but that is what they had. The house was full. Some people were giving us 10 shillings, some 20, some 50. The guest of honor gave us 200, but that is what they had. They wanted their son to be educated, and that is why up to date, when I see a child not going to school, I feel so bad, because I'm a product of education. Were it not for education, I would have never left Kisumu to Nairobi. Were it not for education, I would have never been a student leader. Were it not for education, I would have never been a member of parliament. Were it not for education, we would not be talking today here. So I know that through that education will help the mamambogas, the boda boda riders, will help the baba wa mjengo. Our fathers do very odd jobs, our mothers do odd jobs, just to raise their kids. But I know that one day God will uplift them. They do it with an intention. They sell mboga, some ride boda boda, some go from mjengo, some do very odd jobs, with an intention to pay fees for their kids, with an intention to buy food, to pay rent, and to pay for other bills. But I know that one day God will uplift them.
That definitely paints a gloomy start in life.
My life was such a sorrowful life, traumatizing, because that time when police came to our home, they used to beat people. You see your mom being beaten. So you grow up a messed up person psychologically. But again, I say that because of that past, I would use it to determine my future. A story is told of a father who used to be a drunkard. He had two boys. One boy turned out to be a doctor, another one turned out to be a drunkard. When the boys were interviewed, they were asked, what happened? They said, it is what I saw. The drunkard saw his dad drinking, then said, to be a man, you must drink like my father. He became a drunkard. The doctor saw his dad drinking. He said, I will never follow this path, and I will work hard in life. And he became a doctor. It is what we all see. I saw poverty. I saw a cruel life. I saw unfair life. But I said, I want to work hard. And I worked hard to ensure that I don't be in the same state that I was in.
Perhaps I think...
And there are those in the slums that also see poverty and they say, this is how we should live. Don't be comfortable. Comfort is the great enemy to success. Yes.
We come to a national conversation. You are a change yourself. You have seen violent protests agitating for change. Perhaps what's your take on this?
Article 37 of the Kenyan Constitution is so clear, and the Constitution of Kenya is supreme, and it states clearly that every Kenyan citizen has a right to peaceably demonstrate, picket, or protest, and to present petitions. Article 37 is supreme, and it allows. There is no any other law, there is no any other person bigger than the Constitution of the of the country of Kenya, which is the apex of the law. So we are allowed to demonstrate. Protests will only turn violent the moment the police starts rioting, the moment the police starts firing tear gas. That is where now you get vuta ni kuvute. But otherwise, any person who goes to the streets knows what is taking them to the streets. There is no harm, there is no problem if a person goes to the street to express his or her grievances. The problems of overtaxation in the country is a genuine problem. The problem of high cost of living is a genuine problem. The problem of unemployment is a genuine problem. The problem of high cost of education is a genuine problem. The problem of corruption is a genuine problem. If Kenyans express these grievances in the streets, what's wrong with them? You don't need to kill them. You need to deal with the reason why they are going to the streets.
How can you perhaps, I mean, there's been a thuggery, people breaking into hospitals, perhaps, don't you think perhaps this it's not peaceful for a process?
Magati, you know what has been happening. You saw the other day the governor hired thugs, goons, to go and beat innocent Kenyans who were demonstrating peacefully. And you saw the thugs themselves confessing. There's one who was almost being killed. He was asked, who sent you? When he was nearing death, he said that he was sent by the governor of Nairobi, Sakaja. Clearly. You saw when they were passing close to City Hall, what they were saying. The governor himself promised people that they will meet him if they go for protest. You saw that. He talked about it. I think in Uasin Gishu or Trans Nzoia County. He talked about it. What does that tell you about the kind of leadership that we have? We need a nation where people can express their grievances freely. We don't need to agree all the time. Even God himself is aware. And he tells you that, my people, come, let us sit down, let us talk, let us agree. Which means that God understands that there can be disagreements. And he wants us to sit down and let us talk. But a situation where if you want to talk to the leadership of this country, they want to punish you. Why should you be punished just because you have a problem? Why should you be punished just because you don't have a job? Why should you be punished just because you are looking for school fees? Why should you be punished just because there's high cost of living?
Does it grieve you that the same protesters are also facing terrorism charges in court?
That is even worse. And I addressed the DPP under Article 157, which clearly states the role of the DPP, that the DPP should act in a very independent manner to also protect public interest, okay, and also bring back public confidence. That is 157 sub-article 11, and 157 itself talks about the independence of the office of the DPP. But the DPP has ceased being an independent body, office of the DPP, to being a dependent body. The charges which are trumped up, which are limping, charges which are fictitious, charges which are neither here nor there. Why would you want to charge a person with terrorism only after the president has declared that these people are terrorists? What criteria, what is the yardstick that was used to measure, to know that this charge should be terrorism? Why would you charge Kenyans with terrorism after the president has pronounced himself? Which means that you are dependent on the executive, not independent as the office of the DPP. And we are doing more harm than gain to our nation if you are saying that Kenyans are terrorists. So this is a country full of terrorists. Why would the West come to our country? Why would tourists come to a country that is full of terrorists? If you go to the court, it's charging so many people, over 300 people have been charged with terrorism. So Kenya is a country full of terrorists, sorry? Is it a country full of terrorists as the president is expressing it? We should not punish people just for expressing their grievances. The president himself said that he needed a strong opposition. When the opposition is strong, under the doctrine of separation of powers, checks and balances, that was opined by a gentleman called Louis Montesquieu, the Baron from France in the 1940s. He talked about the doctrine of separation of powers, checks and balances. Why should we not keep the executive in check if they are running amok with the excesses of the police, with the excesses of the executive?
There are those who feel like you are not escalating your anger to your party boss, who's also in bed with the state in the context of the broad-based government.
You know, I talk about the government. It is the government that is in power, the Kenya Kwanza government. The decision that is made by ODM to join government, ODM has structures. There are people who can better respond to that question. I'm not even a polling station representative within the hierarchy of ODM. I have no position in ODM, so ODM can speak for itself. There are people who can speak on behalf of ODM, but me as a leader, I was in the presidential campaign team. After elections, we were in opposition. Now, as a person who is in opposition, what am I supposed to do? To keep checks and balances to the excesses of the government. That is my role. If ODM decides otherwise, then there are people to answer that. That is their decision. But the decision of Babu Owino, who is also a leader, who people lined up to elect, will also work for the people.
People have seen you crisscrossing the country, and they feel like perhaps more than governorship, you deserve more. You said about running for presidency, running for governorship. What time do you think is going to be ripe for you to make the right decision about the higher office that you want to run?
I know, Magati, when we were talking earlier, you told me, Babu, take my ID, I'm going to vote for you as a president. and nikakwambia bana, you need this ID to do other transactions. At the right time, I know, by the end of this year, we shall be clear on what we want. I'm already clear on what I want, by the way. It's only that I don't want too early. It's too dangerous in campaigns. Making early declarations is too dangerous in politics, because your opponent will learn you so much, will punch holes in your strategies. So I want to come at the right time. The campaign should always be short but intense. And I told you that a good leader must be tactful, have tact as a good leader. Tact means that God has an opportunity to destroy the devil, but he leaves the devil tactfully. If he destroys the devil, nobody will ever sin. You can never go back to God. Tact means that there's a pope who used to say that every morning when I wake up, I must greet the devil. Okay? So, you must have tact. You must have strategy on how you are getting to the seat. You must have the people, and you must have resources. When you have the combination of 4 things, then you are good to go. So at the right time, it's going to come. I don't want to make early declaration, but I know what I will be. It's not just running. Everybody will run. Many are called, few are chosen, but one is elected.
Mheshimiwa, if you look at the emotions, the anchor among Kenyans, is it an agitation for a change of leadership in the country? And if it's an agitation for the change of leadership in the country, who do you think is an alternative?
Kenya as a nation has a big problem. When every Kenyan citizen presents him or herself on the voting day to cast a vote, that Kenyan is voting not for fun, not for jokes. That Kenyan is going to vote for services, for a change, for a better living, for a better life. If that Kenyan, the contract that is entering between him and the politician and the leader that they're electing, if that contract is frustrated or infringed on, then that Kenyan will want to sign a new contract with another person. The contract is normally oral, where a leader promises what to do. Then if he or she does not meet the expectation, then that leader is always voted out. That is what is happening in Kenya at the moment, because there's a vote of no confidence in so many leaders, from the presidency to MCA, so many leaders. And in 2027, I know Kenyans are going to renew so many contracts, are going to sign new contracts. But there are those leaders whose contracts will also be renewed, depending on what they did during their term of service. As things are, Kenyans are saddened by what is happening in the country. There's a lot of frustrations. You know of so many people with children that they've educated from primary school to university, but there are no jobs. You know of so many people that wake up in the morning in the village just to go and dig for people shambas, to be paid 50, 100 shillings in a day. So many Kenyans are selling mboga. So many Kenyans are riding boda bodas. So many Kenyans are going from Jengo. So many Kenyans are going for Juakali. The cost of living is high. They can't meet all this. There are no jobs. And these leaders, when they were contesting, they promised these jobs. They promised the jobs. Kenyans are not seeing any changes. They promised proper infrastructure. There are no changes being seen. They promised better health facilities, not being seen. They promised better education and cheap education, not being seen. You as a Kenyan, what will you do? The best thing is to go there and cast your vote to a person that you think can change your life.
You are of the view that we begin on a clean slate.
We can demolish everything and start afresh. It is not too late. We would rather spend 1 year, 2 years to demolish everything and build 50, 100 years ahead for even our children and the generation to come, rather than spending 50 years thinking that everything is okay and destroying those 50 years only to destroy a further 100 years to come.
Let's come to some of the names that have been floated, perhaps that may possibly vie for presidency. Among them is Dr. Matiang'i. I remember asking your party boss about Matiang'i's bid for presidency. And he told me Matiang'i should perhaps wait a bit. He cannot run on the presidency just being backed by a small community. Kind of he wished it away that what's your view? Perhaps may not be having a party position on this. What's your view? Perhaps those people feel like Matiang'i is coming on board and pro change.
I think Kenyans should be treated equally. There should be nothing like a small community or a big community. Every Kenyan deserves a right to contest for any position in this country. So there's nothing, that small community is what makes the bigger nation. It's what makes a nation. Without them, there is no Kenya as a nation. Kenya as a nation is with the inclusion of all the communities, even those that people think are the least people in the community. We should not discriminate based on communities. We should judge a person by the content of their characters, by what they can deliver, by the service delivery. My only prayer is that the opposition should be united and bring one person that is going to face the government of the day. That is the only important thing that they should do. But I saw that, I read somewhere that they are working on that. So there should be a united opposition. Produce one strong candidate. And even me, I'm here. The juice is what the school. I'm a victim to
You said you have the credentials to run.
Tell me what I don't have. Tell me what I don't have, my dad.
As we near to wind up this conversation, do you think at the moment that you have what it takes to change Nairobi when others have failed already? That means if you decide to vie for that seat.
You know, Nairobi needs a leader, not a dealer. A leader who will take our children to school. A leader who will provide jobs. A leader who will construct roads. A leader who will work on the drainages and roads. A leader who will provide clean and sufficient supply of water. A leader who will work on garbages. A leader who will touch things and turn them into gold. A leader who will take our children to school through bursaries and build more ECDs. A leader who will properly feed Nairobians. Not a dealer who everything that he touches turns into trash, garbage. Not a dealer who is stealing from Nairobians. Not a dealer who is sending goons to attack Nairobians. Not a dealer who doesn't know what is left from right. Nairobi needs a leader. Nairobi needs a visionary leader, not a missionary leader, with a mission to destroy the lives of Kenyans, with a mission to take Nairobi nowhere, with a mission to turn Nairobi into garbage. You go everywhere, you see garbage everywhere. Everything that the governor touches turns into garbage. He even pours his mind, his brains. Sometime back he poured his brains hapo kwa CBD, sewage. That is what, you see, that is how he thinks. As a leader thinketh, so he is. If I think that I should pour sewage, raw sewage and takataka, that is who you are. That is what Nairobi needs. Nairobi needs proper leadership. And it really pains me when you are elected against all odds, then you throw that opportunity in a hole. It pains me because a Nairobi governor should move from Nairobi gubernatorial seat to a president.
That's true.
But you're a Nairobi governor who's destroying the lives of Nairobians. You're moving from governor to nobody.
Most devolved units are sinking under the weight of corruption. Are you of the view perhaps the Senate is not doing much to oversight them, to oversight the expenditure and their performance in general?
To be honest, I'm disappointed at the Senate. To be honest, I will speak my mind, it doesn't matter. But so many of these governors should be going home. I'm disappointed at majority of MCS because themselves, up to now, not even the bursary for Nairobians are out. The bursaries that are supposed to be given to our kids are not out. They are quiet. Money is stolen in different counties. MCs are quiet. They should impeach these governors. If you go to the Senate, senators are bringing them back just because they are being given some little money here and there. I'm disappointed at the Senate. I'm equally disappointed at the county assemblies. Why can't people be principled for once?
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Perhaps your last take as we wind up this interview. Perhaps the viewer is facing what can you tell the viewer perhaps at the moment as we wind up this interview?
Thank you very much, Kenyans. I'm your favorite son, Babu Owino, favorite brother, Babu Owino, favorite friend, Babu Owino. And I want to tell you, Kenyans, that we have a journey that we should go together. A journey that will lead us to the city of victory. A journey that needs God. That we must put God for us to achieve anything that we want in life. And this journey, no matter how difficult it may be, no matter how hard it may be, no matter how thorny it may be, we also know that it will not be a bed of roses. But I believe that if we unite, if we go together in this journey, we will make it. Never lose hope. Let us keep on fighting. The only useless person in the world is a dead person. So long as you are still living, we thank God. Just by the fact that you have that health, we thank God. And I believe that you can be anything from who you are. I believe that you can make it. Let us keep hope alive and let us fight on. For I believe that change is coming and change must come. The change is you and me. Let us make a decision, a bold decision, a wise decision to ensure that we take this country ahead and to ensure that we achieve the best for every Kenyan citizen. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Thank you, viewer, for being with us. Today we had the Mbaka's SMP, Babu Owino. There's more he could have spoken, but that's far that we could capture today for you. Thank you, Mheshimiwa, for honoring this interview. Thank you so much. Yes.
Kisiti.